All right. Back in the saddle. How's everybody doing out there? This is Life's Journey at 50. I'm your host, Matt McCourt. And, yeah. It's a nice Saturday morning. A little crisp outside. Spring's starting to come around. Thank goodness. Things are starting to loosen up. COVID looks like it's ending its reign, and hopefully we can get back to normal faster than later. So a lot of states are opening up, which is good, regardless of what you think. About time we'd start getting back to a little bit of normalcy. Still got to do your due diligence, making sure you're doing all the decent stuff that you should be, but at the end of the day, it's clearing up. But so with that being said, I was thinking, a few days ago, I was talking to some friends, and again, this is your host Matt McCourt. This is Life's Journey at 50, and you can catch me on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and Podbean. And Podbean actually hosts it, so kudos to them. And then shared across platforms. I think they said I have over 1,000 subscribers, so that's fantastic. And really appreciate everybody that listens. Let me take this music on out of here. So part of my discussion for today was, obviously I said we were, some of the COVID stuff starting to relieve and things are getting semi back to normal. It's going to still take some time, but I was thinking about this the other day that, I had a conversation with a real good friend of mine, and just, how it is with friends and stuff. You just start talking and kind of fall into that same old routine, and it made me think about, friendships, right? Friendships come in many different forms, many different manners. We have very close friends that pretty much know everything about us and all of our little, secrets or things like that for the most part. I don't think anybody really knows all your secrets. But for the most part, they know a good majority of them. And you share those experiences and share that stuff with them. So I always I relegate that to probably, you might have 2, maybe 3 people in your whole life that truly know you, truly, basically know a lot about you, that, even if you don't talk to them for a while, like you could probably go 2 months, 6 months, a year and not talk to someone. And if they're one of your closest, 2, 3 best friends, you can pick up right from where you basically left off and just fall into that old routine. And I think probably most of you are sitting out there shaking your head or can understand that, right? And then, you've got your I would say your next tier of friends. I don't know if those are, they're friends, and don't know necessarily if they would take the shirt off the back for you or if they would actually show up, to help you out if you really needed it. Some might not, but those are those type of friends. Your true friends will always be there, whether it's, thick or thin, and will help out in any situation. So you always got that. And like I said, you really only have a couple of those in your lifetime. And the rest of them are friends, and, again, they can kind of come in, come out. And then you have like acquaintance friends. Those are kind of I call them the tertiary friends, where they're friends of friends. You know each other, but it's not like you guys really hang out or any of that stuff. And then there's obviously the fake friends. You get those at work, or you get, those of friends that are fake friends that, they're nice to your face when you're around, but then they might say something, about you or something in the background. Those are two-faced friends, right? And I'm sure we all have plenty of those. And But yeah, I was thinking about just friendship in general, that when you see people, they're generally happy to see you, and want to spend time with you and stuff like that. And it's funny because I had a situation where, I developed a friendship with a person a little over a year and a half ago. And wouldn't say in that circle of the two, because I have my two really close friends. One lives in Dallas, one lives in Cleveland, and they pretty much know everything there is. And then I will say that for those of you out there that maybe know me or my situation, my ex and I mean, we went to, I think, elementary school together, throughout high school, homecoming, all that stuff, and obviously married for a long period of time. I have, 2 kids, and so she's a real good, a good friend. I mean, again, we were married, so best friend, and so I do consider her still in that circle or whatever. It's I know for a lot of people that's tough because your exes are your exes, but that that's always some people just can't understand that why we have such a close relationship. And but at the end of the day, I was thinking about this though. So met a person about a year and a half ago and become good friends, and that next level down, I would say good time, and the folks that we hang out with or whatever, have developed a good relationship. Nothing like we all reach out to one another and talk to one another or text or anything like that. But when we're around one another, we have a genuine conversation. And the reason why it made me think of this is that then there's another person there that, although we share that same pool of friends, I'm not as close in that group because I just don't hang out all the time and do that stuff. I have other interest, and I are in this group. Most people are lean politically more probably towards myself. This person is like really on the opposite end of the scale, and but holds that as a grudge. And I find that so weird. Like when you're amongst friends and stuff like that, like you can still be courteous and nice to people and stuff, but it's almost like they ignore you inside that group. And I'm sure you've had many of these situations. And I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, we're in our 50s. And like, I've just come to the realization that life is just, too short to sit back and just accept some of these things. And so I'm nice, I'm courteous, I say hello, all this other stuff. But it's funny because I'll get hugs from, a couple of the females that are, the partners of the friends and stuff like that. And I mean, we shake hands and bump fists and all that stuff. And basically barely get like a wave or something like that, and so, and this happened for a while, and that's the reason why I'm bringing up the friendship thing. It's just funny because, again, you don't have to go overboard with maybe folks that you don't necessarily gel with or get along with or whatever, or even agree with. But again, you can be kind of semi-civil and normal, I think, around folks. So I find that kind of funny when you're in a group of friends that you have these mutual people and they kind of all intersect and everything. And then you realize like who really truly wants to be your friend and who is kind of just a pseudo, like, oh yeah, they're here, I'll have to make nice or whatever, but I'm really not, friends. And I just find it so odd. It's funny because you watch, I don't know if you guys watched, the reality series or whatever. I do. I will admit it. I'm admitting it right here on the air that I do watch a few of the reality series on Bravo. I will not name names, but I do. But I always find it funny that, and a lot of that stuff obviously is all drummed up for TV ratings and everything. But I just find that some of that, though, is kind of what I experience. It's it's just kind of funny. There's a place in Cincinnati here called Hyde Park, and my friend that I've got to know almost, year and a half to almost 2 years, he always called it the Hyde Park Drama Club. And it's hilarious because it seems like it's a scene out of one of those Real Housewives, deal. The women are always bantering with one another. Someone's trying to showboat more than the other. It's comical to watch. And that's what I'm saying, get down to friendship. And all these people are supposed to be friends, and yet they will say stuff about one another. And thank God I don't live down there. But they all say stuff about one another once they leave. They all like try to outdo one another, and it's like, aren't you friends? Weren't you just sitting there drinking a glass of wine or having a cocktail with someone and being all nicey, and then as soon as that person leaves, I mean, they just cut them down in a heartbeat. Like, I laugh at that stuff, and I guess that's maybe the reason why I don't hang out with that crew as often. I just don't get caught up in all that stuff. And so, yeah, I find it pretty hilarious about the old the drama club thing. It's pretty funny. And my buddy told me that from day one that I really met him and was hanging out, and just obviously in a different group of folks. And but I get back to friendship though, and then I've got my two closest friends, Rich and Glenn, who I just, we have always, I've just, again, Rich and I have known each other since our freshman year in college. Long stories, won't get into that. Been pretty crazy, but we were in calculus class our freshman year. Calculus class did not end well for either one of us that year, considering Friday mornings we never went to class because we would normally be a little, shall we say, under the weather after a Thursday night in college. Most of you would get that implication of what happened. And I'm trying to keep it nice and clean for the rest of the families. And then Friday morning, a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit you. And we would end up over at a certain place. And we would have pizza and stuff like that, and then probably start having beverages in the morning. So yeah, it was not good. So from that day forward, Rich and I, and he's been, I've had him on this podcast as well, talking about the dating scene and stuff like that. But Rich and I have been friends since freshman year in college. So heck, that's been fall of '85. So, yeah, 95, 05, 15, yeah, I mean, 30 plus years, right? And been a really good friend. And we've gone through a lot of stuff. Both he and I have had some different challenges. And we've both been there for one another, helped each other move a few times and stuff like that, and just been good friends. And then Glenn's a really good friend. We moved into Dallas. Our kids, especially our boys, were born roughly around the same time, about a year apart. And so they were little ones when we moved to Dallas. And their daughter, although she's, I think 7 or 8 years older. God, I am getting old. Older than my daughter, but their birthdays were the same. So we celebrated birthdays together. And up until probably, COVID last year, we had pretty much every year celebrated their birthdays together, which was kind of cool. Even though we had moved back to Cleveland, to Cincinnati, they would either come up, we would come, down or whatever. And normally every year we had celebrated the birthdays together. And I think in the last couple of years is the last time we did that. And so that's always been special. So plus, growing up in Cleveland, Glenn grew up in Pittsburgh. Obviously I'm a Steelers fan. He's a huge Steelers fan. We kind of bonded over that back in 2001, 2002, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, we've been friends now for, 20 years. And he's another one that, basically knows kind of everything. And I really, stay in touch with him, and just really good people, he and his wife and the family. And so, And I'm sure you guys have that as well. And again, like I said, I'm not near either one of them, but we can pick up the phone and just, flow right into it. So you guys have that out there. So I would tell you that friendship is a key to a lot of things, and being able to talk and be able to get some things off your chest or bounce some ideas off of people that you trust, people that that would have your back, or at least give you sound advice. I think that's the importance of friendship, right? Is to be able to have open dialogue, not be judged, not be like labeled or, chastised or whatever it may be, but to actually have a friend that you can actually sit there and talk to and be able to, talk about things. And I don't know if it's necessarily a therapist thing. It's just more of being able to, again, bounce some things off of that, you might have questions or doubts yourself. So, so I was thinking about that just because of the interaction. I've talked to both of my buddies in the last week. We usually stay in touch, whether it's texting or we reach out once in a while. And then, like you said, saw some friends last night for a period of time. And again, it just caught me sitting there talking about friendship and what does it mean? Who actually is a friend? Who's not a friend? Like, who can you really depend on in the crunch? And it's funny how life is and how life works when you have all these different dichotomies and different things. I would tell you that if we are in our life, lucky enough to have a couple of those friends, enjoy it, cherish it, embrace it, because, some people don't. I don't think, there are some people that maybe just don't have that close friend, or they might have lost their close friend, right? Like it could have been through a death or whatever. And you could have been friends for 20, 30 years and something happened and you don't have that person to go to anymore. And it's hard to build that relationship with someone else, right? Because you've had all this trust and you've been able to open up to someone, and to get someone else new in your life and get them caught up on all the things that are going on, that's a lot to download to somebody, right? It's a lot, a lot of people have a lot of things going on, but when you have those years of just, kind of all the back history and everything's kind of there, and they kind of know it, without having to, go into it. It's pretty, pretty important to have those folks in your life. And so, but anyway, so yeah, I wanted to do, like a little 20-minute thing here on friendship. Didn't want to drag it out. I just thought it was important. Obviously we got COVID coming, easing, a lot of states opening up, which is good. Businesses, ballparks, friendships will, people have been pent up in their places for a long time, haven't even really been able to spend time with their friends. And, it's healthy for the soul. It's healthy mentally. It's healthy in general. And we can all sit here and argue, debate, whatever about COVID and its true impact and all this other stuff, but it had a severe impact on everybody. It had mental health impacts. It had psychological, which is obviously the mental side of it, but that deep need of connection with human beings is a key component to each and every one of our lives. This, I guess, is where my psychology degree comes into play, right? So, but I would tell you that having those connections, having that interaction, that personal experience is so much more than just sitting on a computer every single day, sitting on the phone every single day. To get out, be face-to-face with people, rub elbows. Yes, I said rub elbows. Get in there, get a hug in, high five, do whatever you got to do to get that personal connection back, because COVID has stripped that out of the last year and a half, and if we continue to let that happen, the ramifications, I feel bad for the kids. You've seen the suicidal rates go up. not being able to hang out with their friends, be able to do things. I mean, it has a huge impact. And, all those people that drinking at home, now you can go drink with your buddies. So, but yeah, so anyways, I wanted to talk about friendship. I wanted to talk about how it's a healing process. It's a healthy process. It's great to have good friends in your life. You need them. And hopefully they're good friends back to you, and you need to be good friends to them as well. Those folks that you can really count on. Then, like I said, then you have the next level of friends, and you have the tertiary friends type of thing. But those core friendships are important to everybody's life. They're really important to how you maintain sanity sometimes, right? Because there's sometimes that you just face with a lot of stuff, and you just need a sounding board, and that's what those friends are for. And sometimes you don't even have to respond. You can just listen as a friend, right? That's not a bad thing either. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to get that out. Really enjoy doing this. Thanks for stopping by again. This is Life's Journey at 50. I'm your host, Matt McCourt. Again, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Really appreciate. Give me a thumbs up, like, whatever, and just really enjoy it. So thanks, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and keep those friendships. They're important, not only to you, but to the person that you're a friend with. Remember, it's a two-way street, just like any relationship. You have to foster it, nurture it, and keep it healthy. So anyways, that's my tidbit. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Talk to you soon. And guess what? We're springing forward on Sunday. That means the weather's going to start getting better, and we're going to be able to get out and enjoy one another. So take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.